In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex. The potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power exists and will persist. We must...
Military-industrial complex. 3 words. And they've outlasted every other line of his presidency. He's about to tell 200 million people something they don't want to hear. From a source they have every reason to distrust, the general warning them about the military. Watch exactly how he pulls it off. 8 real, repeatable moves, starting with the first sentence out of his mouth. We play the actual tape every time. Let's go. Move 1, the nothing to gain opening.
3 days from now, after half a century in the service of our country, I shall lay down the responsibilities of office as, in traditional and solemn ceremony, the authority of the presidency is vested in my successor.
3 days from now, after half a century in the service of our country, I shall lay down the responsibilities of office. That's the first sentence out of his mouth. Before one hard word, he tells you he's leaving. Here's why that matters. The second an audience knows you have nothing left to gain, they stop listening for your angle and start listening for your point. Say the exit before the argument, and the room stops bracing for a sales pitch. Try this before your next hard conversation at work. Open by naming what you're not getting out of this. I'm not up for this job. I don't run this team. Whatever removes you from the suspicion of self-interest. Say it first. Move 2, the preemptive yes.
We recognize the imperative need for this development, yet we must not fail to comprehend its grave implications.
We recognize the imperative need for this development, yet we must not fail to comprehend its grave implications. Read that again. Before he criticizes anything, he agrees with it first. He's about to warn the country about the military, so he opens by saying the military is necessary. Most people do this backwards. They lead with the complaint, and the other side spends the whole conversation defending instead of listening. Agree with the thing before you challenge it, and the other side stops defending long enough to actually hear you. Use this the next time you have to push back on someone's plan. Start with the one part you genuinely think is right. Say that first out loud before the but. Move 3, the balance ladder.
Balance between the private and the public economy. Balance between the cost and hoped for advantages. Balance between the clearly necessary and the comfortably desirable. Balance between our essential requirements as a nation and the duties imposed by the nation upon the individual. Balance between actions of the moment and the national welfare of the future. Good
balance between the private and the public economy. Balance between the cost and hoped for advantages. Balance between the clearly necessary and the comfortably desirable. 5 of those back to back. And notice, he's not making 5 different points. He's making 1 point 5 times in the same shape. That repetition isn't padding. It's how you make an abstract idea, fiscal balance, actually stick in someone's memory. Repeat the same shape enough times, and the audience remembers the rhythm even after they forget the details. Steal this the next time you're explaining something abstract. Pick one sentence shape and run it 3 times with different specifics. Balance between X and Y. The pattern does the memorizing for you. Move 4, the no villain warning. Listen again to exactly how he says it. Unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought by the military-industrial complex. 3 words doing a lot of work. Whether sought or unsought. He's naming a real danger without accusing a single person or a single company of doing anything wrong on purpose. That's the difference between a warning people can hear and an accusation people get defensive against. Name the risk, not the villain, and people stay in the room long enough to actually fix it. Use this the next time you have to flag a real problem at work. Describe the system that could go wrong. not the person you suspect. This process could get exploited lands. Your exploiting this ends the conversation. Move 5, and this is the big one. If you remember one move from this whole video, remember this one. The insider's warning. Listen to the pronoun. We must guard against. We must never let the weight of this combination endanger our liberties. Not the military, not they. We. He built this system as a general and then as president, and he refuses to talk about it like it's someone else's problem. That's the opposite of the instinct most people have when they criticize something they're part of. Quietly. Step outside it first, then throw the punch. Stay inside the we and the warning lands as responsibility instead of blame. Try this the next time you have to criticize a system you helped build. Don't switch to they. The second you start criticizing it, keep saying we. It's harder, and it's exactly why people believe you mean it. Move 6, the second target.
We must also be alert to the equal and opposite danger that public policy could itself become the captive of a scientific, technological elite.
We must also be alert to the equal and opposite danger that public policy could itself become the captive of a scientific, technological elite. Notice the timing. He warns about the military first. Then, almost immediately, he warns about something completely different. The scientists and researchers, with the exact same structure. That second warning is what proves the first one wasn't personal. He's not attacking one group. He's applying one principle everywhere it fits. Apply your own rule to a second target, and the first warning stops looking like a grudge. Use this the next time you criticize one side of something. Find the other side doing the same thing, and call that out too, in the same breath. It's what makes people trust the first half. Move 7, the multi-generational reframe.
We cannot mortgage the material assets of our grandchildren without risking the loss also of their political and spiritual heritage.
We cannot mortgage the material assets of our grandchildren without risking the loss also of their political and spiritual heritage. Up to this point, the whole speech has been about balance, budgets, industry, numbers. Then one sentence, and it's about your grandchildren. Nobody feels a percentage. Everybody feels a grandchild. When the argument stops landing, zoom out to who actually pays the cost later and make it a person, not a statistic. Try this the next time a budget or policy argument is losing the room. Stop citing the number and name who actually inherits the outcome. A person beats a percentage every time. Move 8. The disinterested close.
Now, on Friday noon, I am to become a private citizen. I am proud to do so. I look forward to it. Thank you, and good night.
Now, on Friday noon, I am to become a private citizen. I am proud to do so. I look forward to it. Go back to move 1. He opened by telling you he had nothing to gain. Here, at the very end, he doesn't just repeat it. He sounds genuinely excited to give it up. That's the same move as the opening on purpose. At the other end of the speech, and repeating your strongest move on purpose is what actually makes an audience remember it. Your best move doesn't have to be new to work twice. Say it again at the end, and it's the one thing that sticks. Use this the next time your talk or pitch has one genuinely strong opening idea. Don't save it for the intro. Close on it too, in different words. Bookend it, and it's the only part anyone repeats afterward. Here's what actually ties all 8 of these together. Every one of these moves is really about the same problem. How do you say something people don't want to hear from someone people might not trust to say it? His answer every single time was to remove himself from suspicion. First, nothing to gain, validate before criticizing, name the system and not the villain. And only then say the hard thing. None of that requires 5 stars or the presidency. It requires doing the credibility work before you ask anyone to believe the warning. Quick recap. 1. The nothing to gain opening. 2. the preemptive yes. 3. The balance ladder. 4. The no villain warning. 5. The insider's warning. 6. The second target. 7. The multi-generational reframe. 8. The disinterested close. Nobody clapped for this speech. The newspapers the next morning called it nothing new. His own press conference barely asked about it. It took years, and a war nobody wanted, before the country actually heard what he'd said. Your own hard truth probably won't need 50 years, but it will need the same 8 moves he used to make sure it could be heard at all. One more thing before you go. The 3 words everyone actually quotes, military-industrial complex, weren't even planned. The man who wrote them was a Navy officer helping draft the speech, and by his own account, he reached for the word complex because he didn't know how else to end the sentence. 65 years later, a different president stood in front of a different camera in his own farewell address and warned about a different complex, this time tech, not military, using almost the same structure. The line that outlasted the whole presidency was never supposed to be the headline. Which one of these 8 have you actually used or watched someone else use on you? Tell me down in the comments. Subscribe for a new real moment communication breakdown every week.